There are cities you visit, and then there are cities you experience. Berlin is unapologetically the latter. Rooted in a tumultuous past, yet thriving in its dynamic present, Germany's capital doesn't just tell its story, it invites you into it. With every cobblestone, every spray-painted wall, every echoing U-Bahn station and riverside cafe, Berlin exudes a rhythm that's hard to define, but impossible to forget. It is a city of contradiction and reinvention, a canvas painted with layers of war and peace, of trauma and triumph, of concrete and green. To see Berlin is to see the tension between memory and progress. And to do Berlin is to embrace a city that has turned its wounds into wisdom and its scars into street art. Wander through Berlin and you'll quickly feel the weight and wonder of its history. The remnants of the Berlin Wall still snake through the city, not as barriers, but as memory keepers. The East Side Gallery, a 1.3-kilometer stretch of preserved wall turned into a global mural of freedom, is perhaps the most iconic testament to this transformation. You'll see children laughing in front of bold graffiti, tourists posing beside a painted kiss between Brezhnev and Honecker, and local artists adding new touches to the ever-evolving canvas. This living monument doesn't freeze history, it propels it into the present. A short walk from the East Side Gallery, the memorial to the murdered Jews of Europe, unfolds like a solemn sea of silence in the heart of the city. 2,611 concrete slabs of varying heights rise from the ground, inviting personal reflection in their eerie simplicity. Visitors often wander through it in silence. The echo of footsteps, the only sound between the stark grey blocks. Just nearby, the topography of terror, housed on the former grounds of the Gestapo and SS headquarters, offers one of the most confronting exhibitions of Nazi atrocities. It's this stark willingness to confront the past, not sanitize it, that sets Berlin apart as a city unafraid of its own reflection. Yet Berlin is not a museum trapped in its own shadow. The vibrancy of the city beats loudest in its neighborhoods, where everyday life feels like a mosaic of cultures and ideas. In Kreuzberg, the scent of Turkish doner mingles with the buzz of craft coffee shops and vinyl record bars. Graffiti sprawls across shutters and bridges like Berlin's second language, unfiltered, urgent, and proud. Kreuzberg is where Berlin's counterculture thrives, and where one's morning might begin with third-wave espresso and end in a basement club pulsing with techno. Life here isn't polished, but it's passionate. Mitte, the beating heart of Berlin. If Berlin were a mosaic, Mitte would be its glittering center stone. This is where Prussian grandeur meets gritty modernism, and where some of the city's most iconic landmarks are found within arm's reach of one another. Begin at Alexanderplatz, once the centerpiece of East Berlin's socialist identity, and now a bustling square pulsing with trams, shoppers, and street performers. The Fernsehturm, or TV tower, looms above the skyline, offering a 360-degree view of the city's sprawl from its rotating restaurant. A surreal blend of Cold War ambition and present-day appeal. From here, Unter den Linden stretches like a historic spine through the center of the city. Once Berlin's Grand Boulevard, it remains a scenic passage lined with linden trees and neoclassical architecture. Walk westward and you'll pass Humboldt University, where Einstein once taught, and the majestic Berlin State Opera. Every turn seems to peel back another layer of the city's past and present, like opening pages of a well-worn book. Mitte is also home to the stately Museum Island, a cultural sanctuary that hosts 5 of Berlin's most treasured museums. The Pergamon Museum stuns visitors with massive reconstructions like the Ishtar Gate of Babylon and the Market Gate of Miletus, ancient worlds reborn under one roof. Nearby, the Altes Museum and Neues Museum provide deep dives into classical antiquities and Egyptian history, including the spellbinding bust of Nefertiti. But even beyond these grand interiors, Mitte continues to whisper stories through its cobbled courtyards and restored townhouses. Prenzlauer Berg, Bohemian pulse with a family heart. Just a tram ride north from Mitte, Berlin takes on a more relaxed residential rhythm in Prenzlauer Berg. Once a haven for squatters and artists in the 1990s, the area has evolved into a charming mix of renovated Altbau buildings, boutique shops, leafy avenues, and bustling organic markets. But don't let the polished facades fool you. Traces of its radical roots still linger in the details. Mosaic street art peeks from alleyways, punk gig flyers flap on lampposts, and local cafes spill out onto sidewalks filled with both hipsters and young families. Mauer Park, the iconic green space that straddles part of the former Berlin Wall, perfectly encapsulates the neighborhood's vibe. On Sundays, it transforms into a lively bazaar of food stalls, flea market treasures, and one of Berlin's most beloved traditions, bear pit karaoke. Watch as brave souls belt out tunes in an open-air amphitheater while hundreds cheer them on. The spirit here is infectious, spontaneous, and entirely Berlin. Around the corner, the Kulturbrauerei, a former brewery turned cultural complex, hosts everything from film festivals and theater productions to indie concerts and street food fairs. It's this fusion of repurposed space and creative energy that gives Prenzlauer Berg its soul. And when the sun sets, bars like Prater Garten, one of Berlin's oldest beer gardens, provide a leafy haven for conversation, laughter, and pints of local brews beneath the stars.